If it's in an rapidly accumulation of fluid, even in the 200 ml of fluid, accumulation may cause cardiac tamponades. Otherwise, slowly developing effusion more than 2000 ml of fluid accumulation in the pericardial sac may be responsible for cardiac tamponades. So it's not necessary such amount of the fluid may cause cardiac tamponades, because it depends on duration. If there is a short duration accumulations, may cause cardiac tamponades. There is a limitation to ventricular filling because there is pericardial effusion surrounding the right ventricular compression. So there is a ventricular filling is decreased. Ultimately, what happens, there is a ventricular filling is decreased, stroke volume is decreased, and that causes a decreased cardiac output by the each cardiac cycle. So blood pressure or systolic blood pressure gets down. So patient is in a hypotension. There is a high index of suspicion for cardiac tamponade is required because in many instances there is no obvious cause for cardiac disease is apparent. So diagnosis should be considered in any patient with having unexplained sudden enlargement of cardiac salute on X-ray chest, sudden onset of the cardiomegaly. There is a typical pattern on the water bottle figure, and patient is in hypotension, JVP is increased, and soft heart sound. It gives a clue that patient may be in a cardiac tamponade. Sometimes there may be changes in the ECG also, but usually in the patient short duration of accumulation, there is no ECG changes. Otherwise, in the weeks or months, there may be changes of the ECG. There is a reduction in the amplitude of the QRS complex because cardiac contractility has decreased. That's why there is a widening and amplitude is decreased. Electrical alternance between P waves and QRS and T complex is seen. That is electrical alternance. And T waves, there is a changes in the form of inversion. Important sign that is you can see in a case of a cardiac tamponade is a paradoxical pulse. What is paradoxical pulse? What happens if we go for the there is a changes in the pulse with the respiration. Definitely in the duration of the time of the inspiration, there is a up to 10 mmHg of the dip of the systolic blood pressure in the normal population. But what happens in the cardiac tamponade, there is a more than 10 mmHg dip of the systolic blood pressure during inspiration. That is paradoxical pulse. Can be judged by the palpatometer or by the use of the sphygmomanometer. But it's important to add a clue for the cardiac tamponade, but it's not specific for cardiac tamponade. It can be seen in the RV infarction, concentric pericarditis. Sometime in the cases of pulmonary embolism and the COPD cases also. So advanced COPD that having the RV involvement. So important clue to presence of cardiac tamponade consists of a greater than normal 10 mmHg inspiratory decline in systolic blood pressure. When there is a severity, it may be detected by the palpating weakness or absent disappearance of the artery pulse during inspiration by the palpatory method, or you can use the sphygmomanometer to decrease in the systolic blood pressure. Because both ventricles share a tight incompressible covering, that is pericardial sac. So at the time of inspiration, there is enlargement of the right ventricle, causes leftward bulging of the intraventricular septum towards the left ventricle. That causes the compression and reduce the left ventricle volume at the time of inspiration. So stroke volume is decreased and arterial systolic blood pressure is also decreased. So paradoxical pulse occurs in approximately 1/3 of patients of the chronic concentric pericarditis, in some cases hypovolemic shock, COPD, and pulmonary embolism. So right ventricular infarction also resemble with cardiac tamponades that have also cardiac paradoxical pulse. JVP is increased, hypotension. How will you diagnose? So clinical presentations of because it is an emergency, so immediately should be diagnosed as a cardiac tamponade. Otherwise, patient may succumb. So clinical examination, the presentation, ECG may show low voltage QRS complex and binding of QRS complex, sometimes electrical alternance. X-ray chest, cardiac fluid get increased in the water bottle figure, cardiomegaly. Echo, that is definitive diagnostic test when pericardial effusion causing a tamponade. Doppler ultrasound or Doppler echo that shows tricuspid and pulmonic ball flow velocity increase markedly during inspiration. Flow towards the right ventricles, so pulmonary and the tricuspid wall at the site, there is a flow is increased. Whereas the pulmonary vein, mitral and aortic flow velocities get decreased. This is also seen in the constant pericarditis. So tamponade, there is a late diastolic inward motion, the collapsing of the right ventricular free wall in the right atrium and more bulging towards the left ventricle. So transesophageal echocardiography or sometimes CT or MRI may require because sometimes there is a loculated pericardial effusion. So then once the diagnosis of cardiac tamponade is established, to go for the treatment and the cardiac tamponades. In the acute pericarditis causing the cardiac tamponade, there is a large pericardial effusion. So pericardiocentesis is the treatment of choice. And pericardiocentesis should be carried out, or the patient should be watched closely for sign of tamponade if there is no sign and symptom of tamponade, but there is a large pericardial effusion. So serial echography, 2D echo should be done, and monitoring of the arterial and venous blood pressures. So pericardiocentesis is a manifestation of tamponade that appears. There is a pericardiocentesis should be done by the apical or parasternal approach. Most commonly, sub-G-fluid approach should be carried out in the ones because the left untreated. Tamponade may rapidly fatal, so immediately go for pericardiocentesis. Pericardial fluid should be aspirate. Procedure should be carried out under echocardiography guidance, and intravenous saline should be administered simultaneously because sometimes patient may go in shock. And if possible, intrapericardial pressure should be measured at the time of withdrawal, and pericardial cavity should be drained as complete as possible, and a small multi-headed catheter should be inserted and ended with the needle, and it's left in place to allow the draining of prevention of the recurrent effusion, and sometimes required for surgical drainage only, because sometimes there is a loculated or recurrent effusion, so and sometimes for that necessary to obtain tissue to diagnose the etiology. Then we go for the surgical drainage and send the fluid for the examination. It may be transudative or it may be exudative, and should be analyzed for the RBCs if there is a presence of the hemorrhagic pericardial effusion, or sometimes the WBC and cytology and the biochemistry, the sugar and the protein contents in the pericardial fluid to see that if there is an exudative or transudative. The cytology is important for the see any neoplastic cells or neoplastic etiology. Drain fluid should be cultured to see if there is a bacterial or tubercular. Sometimes DNA of mycobacterium tuberculosis is required to determine the etiology, so PCR should be given. In developed nation, bloody fluid is most commonly due to the neoplasm, CRF, and after rupture, cardiac injury. But the developed in the developed nation, but developing countries, there are tuberculosis or association with HIV or itself HIV may cause bloody type of pericardial effusion. Sometimes in the renal failure, cardiac injury and neoplastic tissues may be seen in the developing countries also, but in the country in India, tuberculosis is the most common cause. So it's all about the pericardial effusion causing the cardiac tamponades. That is an emergency.